If you're a student or beginner trying to understand IT, information systems, or programming without the confusing jargon, welcome to LD Tech Lab. Make sure to subscribe, and let's break this topic down step by step.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a deep dive into project management methodologies, the frameworks and approaches that guide how projects are planned, executed, and delivered. Whether you're a seasoned project manager or just starting out, the challenge is always the same. You have a goal, a team, a timeline, and a budget, and you need a systematic approach to make it all work. That's exactly what methodologies give us. Over the next half hour or so, we'll walk through 4 major categories: traditional, agile, hybrid, and other specialized approaches, covering 14 distinct methodologies in total. By the end, you'll know not just what each one is, but when and why to use it, and how to choose between them. Let's start with a quick roadmap of what we'll cover. We have 4 major groups. First, traditional or predictive methodologies. These are structured, plan-driven approaches like Waterfall, CPM, and CCPM. Second, agile methodologies, iterative, adaptive frameworks including Scrum, Kanban, Lean, XP, FDD, and APF. Third, hybrid methodologies, blends that combine the best of both worlds. And finally, other specialized approaches, including Sigma PRINCE2, RAD, and event chain methodology. Each category solves a different kind of problem. There's no single best methodology, it all depends on your project context. Let's go through each one. Our first methodology is Waterfall, and it's probably the most well-known one in the room. Waterfall is a linear, sequential approach. You complete one phase entirely before moving to the next. As you can see on screen, the flow goes: gather requirements, then design the system, then develop it, then test it, and finally deploy it. Once you move past a phase, you don't go back. Think of it like building a house. You lay the foundation before you put up walls. You put up walls before you add the roof. You can't build the second floor before the first one is done. That's waterfall thinking. A real-world example. Imagine building a hospital records management system. Government regulations define the data fields and security requirements up front. The scope is fixed. There's no room for, we'll figure it out as we go. Waterfall is perfect here because everything is defined before a single line of code is written. On the right side of the slide, you can see when this works best. Use Waterfall when requirements are stable and well-defined, when you have regulatory or contractual obligations for documentation, and when your deliverables, budget, and timeline are non-negotiable. But avoid it when requirements might change, and steer away from it for software products that need user feedback loops during development. Next up, 2 scheduling-focused methodologies that are often used alongside Waterfall or other traditional approaches: the Critical Path Method, or CPM, and Critical Chain Project Management, or CCPM. CPM asks one fundamental question: what is the longest sequence of dependent tasks in my project? That sequence is the critical path, and it determines the absolute minimum time your project can take. Any task on the critical path has 0 float, meaning if it slips, your entire project delivery date slips. Here's a simple example: building a bridge. You must complete the foundation before you build the columns, and the columns before the deck. CPM maps all of these dependencies and finds the chain that controls your finish date. CCPM takes things a step further. It asks, what about people? In CPM, we assume resources are always available. But in reality, your best developer is probably on 3 projects at once. CCPM factors in resource availability and uses shared time buffers, called project buffers and feeding buffers, instead of padding each individual task. Imagine a software release where your developers work across multiple simultaneous tasks. CCPM prevents those resource conflicts from quietly eroding your schedule by pooling buffer time at the end of the critical chain rather than hiding it inside every task estimate. Use CPM when your task dependencies are clear and resources are not your bottleneck. Use CCPM in multi-project environments with shared teams, especially if you've noticed student syndrome, where work expands to fill the time available. Now we move into Agile territory, and the most widely adopted Agile framework is Scrum. Scrum organizes work into short, time-boxed iterations called sprints, typically 1 to 4 weeks long. Each sprint follows the same cycle. You pull work from the product backlog, plan the sprint, execute it, review it with stakeholders, and then hold a retrospective to improve the next sprint. Scrum has 3 defined roles. The product owner owns the backlog and decides what gets built and in what order. The Scrum Master is the team's coach and blocker remover. They don't manage, they facilitate. And the development team is a self-organizing, cross-functional group, typically 3 to 9 people. The key ceremonies you'll run in Scrum are sprint planning at the start, a daily stand-up every morning, just 15 minutes, standing up, covering what you did, what you'll do, and what's blocking you. Then a sprint review where you demo progress to stakeholders, and finally a retrospective where the team reflects on how to improve. Scrum works brilliantly for software products with evolving requirements. A great example is building a mobile banking app. Every 2 weeks, the team demos new features to product managers and real users, gets feedback, and adjusts the next sprint accordingly. The product continuously improves. 2 more agile methodologies that are powerful in different contexts: Kanban and Lean. Kanban, the word means visual signal in Japanese, is a pull-based workflow system. Work items are represented as cards on a board and move through columns: to do, in progress, and done. What makes Kanban different from Scrum is that there are no sprints. Work flows continuously, and teams pull new tasks only when they have capacity. The key mechanism is WIP limits, work in progress limits, which prevent the team from taking on too many things at once. You can see a live Kanban board on the left of the slide. Tasks like build API and fix login bug are in progress, while new work waits in the to-do column until capacity opens up. This is perfect for support teams, IT operations, or any team that deals with a continuous stream of incoming requests, like a customer service help desk. Now, Lean is different. It's less a workflow tool and more a philosophy, and it originated at Toyota. Lean is about relentlessly eliminating waste. On the slide, you can see the 7 wastes that Lean targets: overproduction, waiting, transport, overprocessing, inventory, motion, and defects. In software development, this translates to cutting unnecessary features nobody will use, eliminating redundant meetings, reducing rework, and streamlining handoffs between teams. Lean asks, does this activity add value for the customer? If not, eliminate it. We have 3 more agile variants to cover, each filling a distinct niche. Extreme Programming, or XP, is a software development methodology that turns engineering discipline up to the maximum. XP teams write tests before writing code. That's called test-driven development. Developers work in pairs, sitting together and reviewing each other's code in real time. And they integrate and deploy frequently, sometimes multiple times a day. The goal is relentlessly high code quality with rapid feedback. It's ideal for small, co-located software teams where every bug that makes it to production is costly. Feature-driven development, or FDD, takes a different angle. Rather than working in time-boxed sprints, FDD organizes work around a master list of features. Each feature is small enough to deliver in 2 weeks or less. FDD works particularly well for large teams. We're talking 50 or more developers, where Scrum's small team model breaks down. A CRM system is a classic example. Add contact, generate report, email customer, each is a feature that can be independently planned and delivered. Finally, the Adaptive Project Framework, or APF, is designed for projects where you genuinely don't know what success looks like at the start. At the end of every iteration, the client can change the scope and redirect the project entirely. This is the right tool for innovation work, new market entries, R&D, and any situation where customer needs are unclear. But it requires a client who is engaged, available, and decisive, because APF demands real-time input to function. In the real world, few organizations operate in a pure methodology. That's where hybrid approaches come in. The Agile-Waterfall hybrid is exactly what it sounds like. The planning phase follows Waterfall. You define a fixed scope, budget, and major milestones up front. But the execution phase uses Agile sprints. You get the structure and governance that senior management and regulators want, combined with the adaptability that development teams need. A perfect example is a government IT project. Policy dictates what the system must do. That's your waterfall plan. But the software engineers work in 2-week sprints to build it iteratively. The deliverable is predictable. The path is flexible. ScrumBan is a blend of Scrum and Kanban. Teams keep Scrum's sprint planning cadence for structured work, but add Kanban's WIP limits and visual board to handle unplanned work, like bug fixes and urgent requests, that don't fit neatly into sprint commitments. This is especially useful for teams in transition. Maybe you started with pure Scrum but found that support tickets kept disrupting your sprints. ScrumBan lets you formalize that reality: planned work in sprints, reactive work on the Kanban board, all visible in one place. Now we move into two methodologies that are less about workflow and more about quality and governance. Six Sigma is a data-driven quality methodology with one ambitious goal: fewer than 3.4 defects per million opportunities. That's 6 standard deviations from the mean, hence the name. It uses the DMAIC cycle, which stands for define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. You can see that cycle across the top of the slide. The power of Six Sigma is in its statistical rigor. Every decision is backed by data. A bank that uses Six Sigma to reduce loan processing errors doesn't just say, let's be more careful. They map the process, measure the error rate, identify the root cause statistically, implement a targeted fix, and then control the process to prevent regression. The result: error rates drop from 5% to nearly zero. PRINCE2, which stands for Projects in Controlled Environments, is a process-based governance framework widely used in the UK and across government sectors globally. It's built around 7 principles, 7 themes, and 7 processes. Every project requires a solid business case, clearly defined roles, including a project board, project manager, and delivery teams, and formal stage gate reviews before the project proceeds. PRINCE2 is the right choice when accountability, audit trails, and structured governance are non-negotiable. UK government agencies require it by mandate. Large multinationals use it for enterprise-wide ERP rollouts. It's less suited for small, fast-moving teams where the overhead would outweigh the benefit. Two final specialized methodologies to cover: RAD and ECM. Rapid Application Development, or RAD, throws out the lengthy upfront planning document and replaces it with working prototypes. The 4 phases are: a quick requirements workshop, rapid prototype building, iterative user testing and feedback, and then cut over to production. Here's a concrete example. A retailer needs a custom inventory management app in 60 days. Using RAD, the team builds a clickable prototype in week 1. They walk warehouse staff through it, get feedback: this button is in the wrong place, we need a barcode scanner here, and refine it weekly. By the end, they have a system that users actually want because they shaped it throughout. RAD works brilliantly for business applications with clear functional goals and engaged users. It should not be used for safety-critical systems like medical devices or aviation software, where comprehensive upfront specification is mandatory. Event Chain Methodology, or ECM, is a risk-focused approach. It recognizes that projects don't fail due to poor planning alone, they fail because unexpected events trigger cascading consequences. ECM uses probabilistic tools like Monte Carlo simulation to model how risk events affect your schedule and cost. Imagine a large construction project. A supplier delivers materials 2 weeks late. That delays the inspection, which delays the handover, which triggers a penalty clause. ECM maps this chain of events mathematically, so project managers can see the probability distribution of outcomes, not just a single optimistic end date. It's the right tool for aerospace, defense, large infrastructure, and any project where risk management needs to be quantitative, not qualitative. Now that we've been through all 14 methodologies, let's see them side by side. This table gives you a quick reference across 4 dimensions. The methodology type, what it's best used for, its flexibility, meaning how well it handles change, and the team size it suits best. A few patterns stand out. Traditional methodologies like Waterfall and PRINCE2 have low flexibility. They're designed for stable, well-defined projects. Agile methodologies like Kanban and APF sit at the very high end, they're built for change. The hybrid approaches sit in the middle, offering medium flexibility while accommodating both structure and adaptability. On team size, Scrum and XP are designed for small teams, typically under 10 people. FDD and PRINCE2 scale to large organizations. Kanban and Six Sigma work at any scale. This table is a useful tool when you're selecting a methodology at the start of a project. Look at your project characteristics. How stable are the requirements? How large is the team? How much flexibility do you need? And use this as your starting filter. So how do you actually choose? This slide gives you a practical decision framework, 5 key questions with recommended answers. Question 1. Are requirements clear and stable? If yes, lean toward Waterfall, PRINCE2, or CPM, structured methodologies that thrive when scope is fixed. If no, if your requirements are fuzzy or likely to change, use Scrum, Kanban, or APF. Question 2. Is speed to market critical? If getting to users fast is paramount, Scrum, RAD, or Kanban give you the rapid iteration you need. If speed is less important than thoroughness, Waterfall or Six Sigma may serve you better. Question 3. Does quality or compliance dominate? A highly regulated environment, healthcare, finance, defense, points to Six Sigma or PRINCE2. If compliance isn't a constraint, Agile variants give you more freedom. Question 4. Are resources shared or constrained? If your team is spread thin across multiple projects, CPM or ScrumBan can help you manage resource conflicts more intelligently. If your team is dedicated, Waterfall or Scrum work cleanly. Question 5. Is the team small and co-located? Small, co-located teams thrive with Scrum, XP, or Kanban. Larger, distributed teams may need more structure, FDD, PRINCE2, or a hybrid approach. Use these questions as a checklist at the start of any new project. More often than not, your answers will point you toward a clear recommendation, or to a hybrid that combines the right elements. And that brings us to our key takeaway: no single methodology fits every project. The mark of a great project manager isn't knowing one methodology deeply, it's having enough breadth to recognize which approach, or which combination of approaches, fits the specific challenge in front of you. Requirement stability, team size, organizational culture, risk appetite, speed requirements, all of these factors shape the right choice. The best practitioners we see in the field are methodology agnostic. They understand Waterfall's discipline, Agile's adaptability, Lean's relentless focus on value, and Six Sigma's statistical rigor, and they apply the right lens at the right time. So as you leave today, I'd encourage you to think about your current projects through this lens. Are you using the right methodology? Could a hybrid serve you better? Are there practices from another methodology you could borrow? The framework is assess, choose, adapt, deliver. Assess your project's unique context. Choose the methodology that fits, or blend two. Adapt it to your team and organization. And then deliver. Thank you. I'm happy to open it up for questions.
If this video helped you understand the topic better, please like, subscribe to LD Tech Lab, and comment below what you want to learn next. Your questions help shape future lessons.